It's a mystery. Open your eyes to truly see that there's no more time left for you and me. Now such a mystery that we refuse to see. Look at our history. The kid is you and me. So now, gather up for war. Come on, the bridge, the war. Forget the love we never ever knew. Godspeed, here's a time or late. Better grab what's yours, don't hesitate. I don't say you didn't really have a clue. It's a mystery.
All right, welcome back to the Howard Stern of Pro Wrestling. Monte and the Pharaoh. Mike Monte in his man cave. Jimmy Pharaoh in his Jimmy man cave. And here we've got pro wrestler Andy Ellison, the owner of Mad Dog Pro Wrestling. So thank you for joining us on a Saturday. I do appreciate you altering your schedule just to get on the show and be on the show. So thank you, sir.
Well, what is a Saturday without Monte and the Pharaoh? You know, come on.
We're up against John Cena's final match. So
yeah, but hey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What a thrill it is to be on what I consider to be the #1 wrestling show in the world today. And you know, I just thought I wanted to look a little more like you guys. So
there you go.
What do you think about that?
I love it. I love it. Dude, first, you know, Jimmy, I got to tell you, so Andrew wrote, and you don't mind me calling you Andrew, right? I mean, it's kind of weird because you're like a beast, dude. You're like a beast pro wrestler. To call you Andrew, like such a nice name, is kind of difficult, but we'll try to.
I'm a nice guy. Come on. I'm not going to steal. I'm not going to steal your gimmick, though. I'll take.
No, you could stay in gimmick. It's all good.
I liked it. I liked it. Feel free.
Jimmy, he wrote me, and you know, I didn't really know what Andrew looked like, and then I look him up. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's an animal, man. Holy cow! How big are you, Andrew?
I'm about I fluctuate. I'm about 270. 270. My highest was 300 pounds, but I couldn't maintain that. But not put together the way I am now. So I would say this is an improvement.
Mike, I'd like to think that God gives to those who can handle the responsibility, because I think to myself often, I maxed out in my life at 210 pounds maybe. If I weighed 270, the world would be in trouble. So I think that it's, you know, it's really God who selects these things. So that's a big arm he's got there, Mike. That's how large is that bicep?
I don't measure it, but you know, it gets attention.
I bet.
Well, all right. Well, let's be fair, Andrew. How much juice did you hit during the day? I know you're doing tests now.
More apple.
Your age.
More apple. Well, I have low testosterone, to be honest with you. Just
as all of us, when we hit this age, we all have low testosterone.
So I have to take a supplement of testosterone every week, just to maintain a normal level, 100 milligrams. Mm-hmm. And that's what I do. And it just keeps me, this is me normal. Imagine super normal.
Yeah. So what did you do before? Like, did you hit the gas?
I mean, it's something that was in wrestling, and you had moments where, yes, I did. And, but we trained differently back then. You know yourself, right? If I went back now and to do things, I wouldn't do things the way I did it back then. Just training wise, injury wise. I've had back surgery and I've had other injuries, and people say, "Oh yeah, all that wrestling." I said, "No, it wasn't the wrestling. It was actually the weights and the training and all the load that your body bears." I wasn't big when I started, so that was part of the problem as well. I was 150 pounds after high school. I was athletic, I was muscular, but I mean, it wasn't the same kind of physique. And I wanted to be a wrestler. So when you want to be a wrestler, you start training differently.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a necessity, really, a competitive edge. You have to have it, right?
Well, that's the thing, you know. Like today, maybe it's not viewed the same way, but for me, I'm an old school guy. So I say, if you want to be a wrestler, you have to look the part.
Yeah.
Because if someone is going to buy a ticket to see you or to watch wrestling, whether they know it's entertainment or not, whether it's arranged or not, it still has to look believable. No one's going to buy a ticket to see someone they think that they could beat. They still have to say that. Oh, you know what? It may be arranged, but I wouldn't want to mess with that guy.
Jimmy and I, again, old school guys, grew up in old WWF territory where they had the monsters, and I couldn't agree with you more, man. I think that's what's lacking but we realize in today's world, anyone can make a movie now, anyone can be an actor, anyone could have a podcast, anyone can be a wrestler, right? And in some ways, at least in my belief, it's kind of ruined a lot of stuff, right?
Absolutely. It's become too accessible, too available to people where they rent a ring or they get a ring and they put a few matches together. And to me, there's something missing there. Like I said, you have to look the part because people will decide whether they buy you or not before you even step into that ring. As you're walking to the ring, they're going to decide if they believe in it or they don't believe in it. And I can go somewhere. People may not know who I am, but no matter where I go, people are coming up to me and saying, "You must be a wrestler, right? You look like a wrestler, right?" Or interestingly enough, "You remind me of my favorite wrestler, so and so, so and so, and so and so," because I believe that is part of the persona, that is part of what professional wrestling is at its core, at its essence. And like I said, if you're trying to sell tickets and create an audience, you guys are in Long Island. If you went to see the Islanders play and thought to yourself, "Oh, I'm better than that guy on the ice, or this guy, or I could better than Patrick Roy," well, are you really going to go back or buy a ticket? I don't think so.
Well, I think especially like someone like yourself, Andrew, you passed the airport test, right? It's like people don't know what you are, who you are, but they know you are, right? It's something, right? So yeah, I totally get it.
You have to be outside the box. You have to be out of the ordinary. You have to be uncommon.
Andy, do you think the death of kayfabe opened the door for the smaller wrestler to become a world heavyweight champion? Because once the believability was no longer being sold, I guess that would make the audiences go, "Well, it's just an act anyway, and we like this guy." Any thoughts to that?
Yeah, I think it did, but it also affects the longevity and are these people going to stay with it or not? Because that's one part of it, and the part of it is it's just overly sensationalized where it's just not believable. And that could be, you could play that into like the tiny guy versus a huge guy and say, it's not believable. There's so much about it now that is not believable that I'm not a fan of, and that that I do get away from, and I present a completely different product.
More old school, I'll trust, but we'll get to that.
Sure.
Mike, should I begin the big debate about the borders?
Let's do it.
Oh boy, I love some of these questions I get because Mike gives me something to work off, and then sometimes I have to reword it. So I'll reword it this way. Historically, the United States and Canada, in the most important aspects, World War I, World War II, the dictators, the the real preserving of the human race's dignity and self-worth. Canada and the United States have always walked side by side. Recently with the internet, and I know everything's negative on the internet, but you can't help it. It's almost like, all right, I'm just going to ask you, why does Canada hate us? What's going on over there?
Tariffs.
Tariffs. Okay. Are we to, well, Mike, how deep should I dive here? Are we to believe our president that it's been kind of like a con job with a lot of different countries over the years? Because I do think that there is some truth to that. So do you just think that this is way too much coming from our end?
Well, Jimmy, it's a great point. Way to ask it. But
I'm
the
trying.
question, I guess, is being from Canada, what's your outlook here, right? Because our president is saying, "Hey, look, this has been a lopsided deal for way too long. We've got to straighten this out." Do you feel it was a lopsided deal? I mean, tell us what you feel.
Well, I don't know as much about the long-term history of how the tariffs were structured globally and in terms of specifically Canada and the United States. But if we come back to wrestling, well, that's great for wrestling right there, because wrestling has always been a microcosm of society. And this is what we use to play on, and these are angles that we use to generate interest.
Mike, is that his way of saying we're all being worked somewhat?
I would think so, Jimmy. I would think so.
Okay.
Everything is a work. I mean, Andrew,
Yeah.
you couldn't have said any better, because, as we go through life, all these things that happen, it's. Look, first of all, Andrew, I got to ask you, why did you want to be a pro wrestler? Considering all you've done, and we're going to get into it. When you look back, are you like, what? Why did I do this?
Oh, there was a moment I can tell you specifically where I thought to myself, what am I doing here? But I'll get to that. But initially, my first memories were watching wrestling at 5, 6 years old with my brother and grandfather. And actually, the first time I saw it, I became scared. I saw these two heel bald guys, just pummeling these, up-and-coming baby faces. I still remember the match, but as time went on, I just became more captivated by the glory of it. The baby face fighting from underneath, overcoming the odds to defeat his larger, perhaps, cheating opponent, and all the stories intertwined with that, really. So I wanted to become a wrestler, and it was something I said, well, I was into hockey and I was into wrestling. So I wasn't able to become Guy Lafleur, but I thought maybe I'd be more like Dino Bravo, who was a huge star here in Montreal.
Wow. Was Dino Bravo the man for you? Was that the guy?
He was the man. I mean, he was as popular as any of the Montreal Canadiens during the early to late 80s.
Really?
Oh, he was. Forget about what you saw of him in the WWF. That was a different Dino Bravo. In Montreal, he was loved. He was a great baby face. He had that fire to him as well. Rick Martel as well, who was here and part of the territory. But these were guys that they drew. And
How disappointed or shocked were you when you found out about Dino Bravo's personal details and his demise?
Surprised for sure. I had spoken with him about a year before that. We were on a card together, and he was talking to me just about his house that he bought, but it was shocking because no one knew him in that way.
Wow. How about the Hart family? Were they one of the bigger families that you followed, or was there a break between Montreal and those areas?
Just geographically, it was not close to Montreal, so it wasn't something that we got on TV until later years. Once the promotion in Montreal folded and we were able to see it on a national sports network, I wasn't close to the Harts except for Jim Neidhart, who I would bring in for my shows and team with him and sometimes go against him. And he was a character. If you've ever known Jim.
I didn't personally. I mean, when I was in the military, I ran into him once in a bathroom. I think he asked me for some weed or something like that. But that, but I mean,
But I'll tell you a funny story about Jim.
Go ahead.
So I brought him into town for a show. Him and King Kong Bundy. They were both leaving the same day, but just different parts of the day. So I went to the hotel to pick up Bundy. And we're checking out, and Bundy's at the counter at the front desk. And okay, yes, sir, everything's fine. Okay, would you? There's just one thing to take care of. This matter of this film that you purchased, and Chris, right? I didn't order any movie. And I said, well, sir, I mean, it's here, and this adult movie that you ordered, and
I knew it. I knew it.
I did. It's not me. So he said, well, who was working last night? Well, it was I was here, the guy behind the counter. Chris says, well, could it be possible that it was another guy? Did another guy come around and with this crew cut and this long goatee and, oh, yeah. Oh, really? Yeah, he's actually in the bar right now.
Spending your money.
Oh. So he just turns and storms screaming, Jim! We walk into the bar. He's on the video poker machines, and it looked like he'd been there all night. He was just all flushed. And did you order a movie on? Hey, well, So that was his send off.
Andy, I got to ask you, being that you've been on the pro wrestler side and now the promoter side also, which side do you defend the most, considering you've been on both sides, right? Because you hear about the stories about promoters taking advantage of the wrestlers, and then Jimmy and I know far too well what could happen on the other side. What about you?
I'm on the fair side. Listen, I have a business to run and to protect. So in that respect, I expect the wrestlers to adhere to certain standards and to conduct themselves a certain way when they are at any of my events. But I understand them as well, and to be able to provide for them at the shows, to make sure they're comfortable, to make sure they have the accommodations and whatever it is they need. So it's kind of a balance. You just have to understand what everyone's needs are.
I was thinking, Jimmy, they're probably when they get booked, when they see Andy, they're all of a sudden like, oh yeah, I'm not going to really screw around too much here, right? I'm going to have a major problem on my hands, right?
Yeah. It might help. Like back in the day with my bands, I suddenly realized, wow, I'm making a lot more money. And then I realized the guy who represented us was 6'7". So it kind of helped.
Andy, let's talk about Canada's favorite son, Hannibal, man. I want to know what you feel about Hannibal. That, he was at one point, he was on your side of the fence. I think from what I understand, he's glomming off another woman at this point. I don't even know how that's going on, but go ahead. And listen, if you're a fan of his, by all means, I'm not trying to sway you.
Hey, there he is. I don't know him personally. I've never met him, but I know guys who've worked for him, who've worked for me and for him. And some have said very positive things. Others have not. As far as the issues he's had with Abdullah the Butcher. So let's talk about that, because
let's do.
I've wrestled Abdullah the Butcher. Many times, and so has he. And of course, everyone knows the allegations in which he has accused Abdullah the Butcher of giving him hepatitis C using the same blade. I can tell you, anytime I wrestled Abdullah, it was before he ever faced Hannibal. And the first time I wrestled him, I said, listen, I'm going to get my own color, but if you feel I need a little more, go ahead. Look who I'm talking to, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Edward Scissorhands got quite happy. And so we go out there, the whole start. I get the bell, boom. take the bump outside, get color, come back in. And, I should have known because when he got into town, he didn't know he was going to work with me. I booked him, but, you're going to work with me? He got all wide-eyed. Oh, yeah, and you're going to tell me, though, like, because he knew me as a baby face and, scientific wrestling. He said, are you going to get color? I said, well, yeah. I mean, it's Abdullah the Butcher. That's what the people are here for. Oh, yeah? You're going to get color? And he went into this trance. He was like, color, 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 color. And I kind of like, okay. Anyway, so here we are in the match, and out he comes. So he grabs me in the headlock, and then boom, and it felt like a zipper just slid down my head.
Oh.
And someone turned on a water faucet, and it was just whoosh. And I'm not complaining about it. I'm not complaining about it because that made me. That made me. Like, I'm said that's good for the business. But to the end of the story, I never got hepatitis. He used his blades on me. I never got hepatitis. I'm fine. So I don't know where that's coming from. It's hard to say, but I could vouch and tell you that I was okay.
Well, I'll ask you though. I mean, when I guess within the wrestling community, I assume we didn't really know Hannibal at that point, right? Because I don't think he had a YouTube channel at that point. But within the dramatics of pro wrestling, you hear this wrestler claims to have caught hepatitis C from Abdullah. Are you like, shit, I got to go get tested?
I mean, you have to be safe. You have to be cautious. You have to get tested. But I'll tell you one thing though. But those pictures from that match really put me over because it's kind of like the Tommy Rich thing, right? Where he beat the crap out of him, but it made Tommy look good. I didn't mind. See, that's the problem with so many baby faces. They don't want to get beaten down. And they don't want to sell, but they don't understand that to get over, you have to fight from underneath. You're not going to get over if you were never under, in a sense. If that.
But isn't that the agent's fault? Or let's even go further. Do you think it could be the fans' fault? Because wrestling has changed, right? I mean, to be honest with you, we've discussed it a million times. Jimmy and I used to go to the Garden all the time, and the matches we loved so much when we watched them today, we're like, whoa. This is rough. Like, I don't know what I was looking. But again, is it age that we're aged now and younger people like what they like, or is it the fans, or is it the agents don't even know how to book a match anymore?
The agents don't. I've been at Madison Square Garden in the back dressing room, and they're writing out the match. I don't mean going over a couple spots. I mean writing it out move for move. Okay, and then you do this. So what ends up happening is it looks too mechanical. It's not organic. And it used to be that video games copied reality. Now it just seems like reality is copying video games. The matches just seem like a giant video game, void of emotion. And it's just, I'll do 5 devastating moves to you. Okay, now you do 5 to me, but without any consequence. So a punch doesn't mean anything. A clothesline doesn't mean anything. A superplex doesn't mean anything because they just get up or they don't sell it or there's no emotion. If you throw a punch the right way just once, you should get a reaction.
What do you think about blood being removed basically from WWE? I mean, after all, they're the Yankees in this business, and not showing blood, is that just one further step as far as kayfabe just completely taking a shit nowadays? I mean, it's just, how can you have reality at all? Is it just a lack of reality that's killing this business?
It's a lack of reality. It's also a lack of, it's a lack of reality because there's no consequence to what's happening in the ring. So, yes, you can go see a movie. You know it's not real in a sense, but the story has to make sense.
Right.
Where the hero isn't going to get shot with a machine gun in the first 2 minutes of the movie and then make it to the end of the movie. Like it has to have its place and its time and impact as well.
Well, you have to be engulfed by the movie, right? You have to forget that it's a movie. You have to forget it's a wrestling. So you're working with these younger wrestlers. Is it the schools that are causing the problem? Like when you bring them in, are you just like, bro, like, listen, if you're working for me, this got to be different.
Yeah, yes, because we can't ring the bell and have 5 high spots in the first 45 seconds. And, they're not conditioned to think that way because of kayfabe. Back to Jimmy, because kayfabe is gone and because they're not being taught by old-time real pros who've lived it and who've seen how it works. Because it could work if you do it the right way without all of that stuff. But they think they have to too much. They just give too much to the point where they've overexhausted the audience at the same time. Instead of working up to something and building up to something, it's that drama where you're coming up, then you come down, then you come up, then you come down. And you're going for that gimmick, but the crowd comes up, you put it back. It comes up, you put it back. You're playing with the audience, and that's the art of it. The art of it is gone. It's just kind of like smash and crash out there. And let's get the biggest reaction and let's get the biggest pop. But the problem is, when people go home, they don't remember that. What they remember is the connection that you make with the people that comes here from the heart and from clawing your way back up as a babyface or as a heel by cheating in that way that gets them so pissed off. Not just by smashing them with something, because anyone could do that.
Andy, do you think that there's a disconnection coming from the younger generations with history? And what I mean by that is when we were kids growing up, when I first got a love for baseball, I went all the way back to Babe Ruth. I wanted to know how he swung. I wanted to know how heavy his bat was. I wanted to know what made his game special. Do the kids today even go back and take a look at a 60-minute match between, a Flair and a Race or a Backlund and a Valentine at the Garden? I mean, do you see any of that? Or is it just what I'm being shown on the internet now?
That's what it is now. It's just about, it's shock value to a certain extent. And it's too bad because those are the greatest matches. Those are the greatest matches.
Are you looking to bring back storytelling in the old school ways with your promotion?
100%. I mean, we're working on some projects now involving TV. So that's where we're going to do it on a weekly episodic type of format to be able to create the characters that will resonate and people will connect with, that mean something.
What is your mental approach as you're building your roster? I hope you're doing a Parcells, because it sounds to me like you want a certain thing. If you get a kid who comes in and you can tell he's going to be a problem, are you cutting him out right away and replacing him with what fits your ideology here?
Of course, I'm going to handpick them. People will come to me. I'll try them out, but you have to. I won't blame them as much for the style they bring into the ring when I meet them, because that's what they were taught. But they have to be open to learning things differently and listening.
Remolding.
Right. And I'm not talking, I don't have that mentality of, the work rate and the 5-star matches, but you have to know how to work. You have to know how to work, but it's more than just that. We're trying to connect and be captivated by a different kind of audience, one that will be there long term.
Is this the opportunity now for like Mad Dog Pro Wrestling and Juggalo Pro Wrestling? Considering the WWE is in where it's at, you've got AEW. Rumors are abound now that TKO is now starting to make moves and possibly unloading the WWE. At least we're at the beginning phases of that, which Jimmy and I clearly believe that will take place within our lifetime and within the next few years, where this just gets handed off to a Saudi-based company and TKO lets it go. And if that's the case, is this a chance where regional wrestling can return and a place like Mad Dog Pro Wrestling could really have a footprint in pro wrestling?
I don't even think things need to wait for that to happen. It's already happening from what I see here in this area and in this territory, because I feel it's ready to pop. Everywhere I go, people are captivated. They're interested, they're intrigued, and they approach me. And everyone wants to talk about wrestling. But what I found is the conversation quickly turns to memories. I remember watching wrestling with so-and-so growing up, and there's that connection they have to old school wrestling that they don't have with the product that's out there now. So that tells me something, that it's ready right now. And they want to bring their kids, and they want to bring their families, and they want to invest themselves. I don't mean financially as well by buying tickets, but I mean emotionally. They want to invest themselves, because this tells me this is something that we create memories with, because that's what they're talking to me about. And I can recreate those for the generations today.
I love it. Will you remain a talent in your organization, or will you start just become office?
I'll be back in the ring. I can't say I'll be back. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, the thing is, my neurosurgeon doesn't really think it's a good idea. Something about, I don't know, this thing he calls paralysis.
Yeah, and surgeries, and everything.
Yeah,
right?
but the thing is, I've had all I can take, but not all I want. But it goes deeper than that, because people could tell you and give you 10 reasons not to do something in life, or tell you why you shouldn't do something in life. But there's one reason that's inside you and that comes in your heart, because I know I can do it. And I've always faced odds that were against me. People said, oh, you'll never be a wrestler, you're too small, or you'll never be able to fight this guy or that guy, or you're never going to make it. And, it's never too late to make things right again in life with any situation. And like I said, no matter what people tell you why you shouldn't do something, if you know in your heart, that's the reason that counts.
How difficult is the challenge of booking and being on the card itself? That's got to be a little bit of a mind twist. I mean, after all, you got to book yourself. You don't want to do a Dusty Rhodes and I win. You know what I mean? So
you have to give people what they want at the same time as well. Like it's a fine line, because you don't want to be perceived necessarily as the one who's just out for their own ego and just wants to be on top. But you also have to listen to the people. And if that's what they want, that's what you give them. But you do it in a creative way.
So, Andrew, let's go into your wrestling career, and I'm being respectful here, to be fair, right? You've had a career, you made a career out of pro wrestling, so kudos for you there, right? I mean, that in itself is a tremendous accomplishment and should never be forgotten by anybody. But would it be fair to say that you never really hit the mainstream? So people don't know the legend of Andy Ellison. So maybe we could walk through your career so people get to know you and understand where you came from and what you accomplished.
How long do we have here tonight?
Got plenty of time, brother. Plenty of time.
It's a one fall to a finish, right?
That's it, bro.
Yeah.
And by the way, I just want to give a shout out to your wife, because I'm always impressed by a woman. What you're doing, right, is not, for lack of a better term, is not normal, right? It's not in a normal society. You're growing a business called pro wrestling. And you see many independent shows. Me and Jimmy make a lot of, again, me and Jimmy, you watch us, right? Make a lot of fun out of people that have shows that have 3 people in it. And we're like, what are these guys doing? Right. And again, not to be disrespectful to them, but it is kind of funny. But I got to give credit to your wife, because someone that stands by you and lets you get the dream and know you're going to take care of it. I love that shit. I got to be honest with you.
Well, you say it's not normal, but it's not a normal pathway, but it's not the only thing I do. But yet it's something that's supported. for sure. And my career started back when I was 18 years old at a place in Montreal. The problem, in a sense, was that the territory here closed down, so there weren't really any opportunities to hit things on a bigger scale for me at the time. So there was a place in Montreal that trained wrestlers, and they also held shows once a week. Very well-known place, and it's a French name. I'll say it, but it's called Loisirs Saint-Jean-Baptiste. Yeah, well, I got my flu shot. So it's a very well-known place because people like Pat Patterson got their start there, Ronnie Garvin, Pierre Carl Ouellet as well. Many well-known wrestlers came out of there, and I started there. But there wasn't a lot of work around, and had I been born maybe several years earlier, the path could have been different for me. One day, I happened to be watching TV. They did a news story on a show that was coming to Burlington, Vermont. And I'd been in the business a year or two, not very long, and it was advertised, Demolition, Abdullah the Butcher, the original Sheik, Bam Bam Bigelow, and so on and so forth. I said to myself, well, I'm going down. I'm going to bring my bag, and I'm just going to go down. And there's a picture from Mexico because I did the same thing. I just brought my bag to Mexico. And that was a poster that I was on at the Coliseum. So I went to Burlington, Vermont. Being young, being excited, I didn't quite go the right way. Ended up taking me way longer to get there. By the time I did, the show had already started. The place was, I said, oh, God. So I get to the back of the building. I go up the back stairs. I'm banging on the door. The cops are there. I said, no, I'm a wrestler. Just let me go through. So the promoter kind of peeks his head out. I said, listen, here's my shot. I've got the promoter. The door's open this much. I'm so-and-so. I'm from Montreal. I'm here. I can wrestle. I'm like, I don't know, 19, 20 years old. So one of the boys is behind him, who used to work for Kowalski. And he goes, come on. Let him in. He's one of the boys. So they let me in. And the door leads right into the dressing room, which is connected by a small little corridor to the other side where the other dressing room is. And the show's already started. None of the guys are in there. They're all watching the matches. And I see one of the guys I know from Montreal, Richard Charlon. I don't know if you know who he is, but he worked all over. He worked for Vince in the 70s. And anyhow, so at least I see someone I know. Okay, good. I walk into the other dressing room. There's a guy. Hi, shakes my hand. Hi, I'm Bill. I don't know who Bill is at the time, because then he starts like this. I said, oh, that's Axe, because I didn't see him with the paint or the mask when he was Superstar. Mm-hmm. And in each dressing room, there were these small makeup rooms with, the lights all around for stage and theater. And I look into one of them, and in the room is the original Sheik. And he's just looking at me through the mirror, and I'm looking at him. And then he comes out, shakes my hand. I'm next to Bill Eadie. This is my son. Ha, 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 ha. I'm here like with legends, legends. And I just kind of knocked my way in the back door. So the promoter's like, okay, listen, we're missing a guy. I said, thank you, Bam Bam Bigelow, for not showing up.
Oh, okay.
So you're going to go in. And he said, and everything was all scrambled because he wasn't there. They needed to put the card together. The matches had already started. Okay, you're going to do a 6-man tag with this guy. So it was Rob Van Dam before he was Rob Van Dam.
Wow.
Sabu.
Okay.
Yeah. And there were some other guys from Kowalski's school as well.
Got it.
Bill Wilcox. I don't know if the name means anything to you, but
The last name's ringing a bell.
He did a number on 1, 2, 3 Kid. There was a big. Okay. So a few of the guys there. Okay, good. Getting ready to do the match. Then in comes one of the guys who didn't show up just before we're supposed to, get ready to go. Okay, forget the 6-man tag. You're going to work with him. I said, okay. It's Bob De La Sera, another guy from Montreal who I used to watch on TV as a kid. And now I'm going to go up against him. So he was well known throughout Europe, Germany. Carl von Steiger was one of his gimmicks, working in Portland as well. Solid guy, solid. Here I am, a kid. They're like, okay, go ahead. But because everything was all disorganized, they end up putting Abby and the Sheik out before us because he wasn't even ready to go. So they go out, they're doing their whole thing. And, of course, double DQ, the bell. And one guy after another is going to the ring and coming back. Next guy, even the ref came back all gigged up. So I'm sitting next to Charlon there. I'm like, should I go too? Should I like to help? And he goes, nah, don't go. So we end up doing the match. Weirdest thing, I'm in the main event now. I'm the main event because of all these late arrivals, and I have to follow Abdullah the Butcher and the Sheik.
Welcome to the biz, kid.
So we're doing our thing, and
Wow.
All the nerves, everything is hit because,
Yeah, how what's going on inside you doing all of this? I mean, how are you not flipping
I'm doing
out
okay.
together?
I'm doing okay. The match is actually on YouTube. Somebody had this match because it was on TV in New England on Adelphia. It's on YouTube.
Got it.
I remember at one point in the match, I'm outside on the floor, throws me out of the ring. And that's the moment I said to myself, was this a good idea? I'm gassed. So I make it back up, finish up the match, and it was good. It was good. So that was my first foray into the U.S. wrestling. And yeah, that was one of the other cards for New England Wrestling Federation, teaming with Hawk. So I was able to get a foot in the door there and do all their events for the New England Wrestling Federation. And I have to thank Gary Hathaway, a shout out to him for having the confidence in me and building me up. And from starting off there, just like preliminary.
I got to ask you, coming down from Canada to Virginia, right? What's the payday for that?
Well, it was Vermont, so it wasn't too bad.
Vermont. Yeah, okay, Vermont. Yeah.
It varied. I remember one card I did for him. I worked 3 times. So, I mean, it varied. I worked as Max Moon for a while as well on the Independents.
Did you really? Wow.
Yeah, with the original.
We love Max Moon.
Well, yeah.
It's an inside joke, Andy. I'm sorry. There's some history going back.
Yeah, Uranus was a little more popular, but
Yeah, Andy, what's the attitude of Canadian fans and Canadian wrestlers towards American wrestling? Do you guys just like laugh at us? Because I mean, when I think about it globally, Japan was always strong style, taken very seriously. Over in England, they bend limbs. In Canada, who's the poster guy? Bret Hart. And here in America, we're definitely the Ian Entertainment. So how are we looked at as an American wrestling?
I think a lot of people try to copy the style that they see, especially WWE, and that's a big mistake. You have to be your own entity. You have to be your own product. You have to be your own company. You have to have your own vision, and you have to have your own direction. So that comes with time and experience too, because when you're young and inexperienced, what do? I guess you just try to copy what you see in a sense, because you don't have any other perspective.
Does it disappoint you that the Look, you're an old school guy. We can tell. It's obvious. Does it disappoint you that the E in entertainment was the factor that projected pro wrestling globally the way it did, being an old school guy?
I mean, you have to have that entertainment value to it. It's just
Yeah.
key. It's just so key. I mean, that's what's missing, or they just try to entertain themselves.
Well, what would you say to the purists that love to shit on Vince McMahon and his legacy? Because without Vince McMahon, we don't have the Super Bowl conversation, do we?
Not at all. I mean, not at all. People look back. The irony is you could look back at what he did and say, oh, that was so much better than what you see today.
Mm-hmm.
But yet back then they were saying this is garbage.
Again, I gotta keep saying that it becomes age. There's so many things involved. Andy, could you please tell the great story about the time you were gonna be part of the WWF in the big time? I love this story, Jimmy. You're gonna love it.
All right.
So I happened to run into Pat Patterson in Montreal. I'd worked for them before. I'd done TV for them, but dark match and TV. But that was a couple of years before that. And I ran into Pat.
Real quick, I don't mean to interrupt you. When you did TV for them, was your name the same, or did you run under a different name?
No, it was the same thing.
Who are some of the guys you wrestled on TV?
Ahmed Johnson.
Wow, nice.
Tell us a little bit before we get into your stories. Tell us a little bit of Ahmed. He's been on the show twice. Everybody knows the hate that guy gets, right?
I liked Ahmed. I got along with him, and I liked him. And I get along with everybody in the business, really. I don't have any issues. But the only thing I will say, sometimes he's a little hard to understand, right? Owen used to make a joke about him, Owen Hart, that when he did his promos, they should have added the bouncing ball at the bottom of the screen when he spoke, right?
I like that.
That's great. Was he stiff, though? Like a lot of guys said that
he heard
really
a lot of guys
wrestle, and he was very stiff.
No. I mean, his finish is stiff, but that's nothing. It's not his fault.
Do you think others in the locker room try to squash his push because he just had such a look, and Vince loved that look?
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know how green he was when he came in necessarily. So people might have seen that and said, hey, they shouldn't do that. They shouldn't push him like that. But he got over. That's what people forget.
Yeah.
And that's what's most important. And for a company, you say, well, he's getting over. He's making us money. That's what we're interested in.
Did he let you get some offense? Did he?
So much. So much. But I kind of did it. I worked it. I had experience. I worked it. And what happened was, so he goes over the match with me a little bit beforehand. He was in Ottawa. It was the night after the Survivor Series with the Montreal Screwjob. So he goes over it, but I couldn't quite understand from his, we'll call it accent. Let's just be nice and say his accent.
Right.
But I didn't want to look stupid either by saying, what do you mean? What do you mean?
You're just like, yeah.
What are you talking about? He'll go to the office and say, give me someone else. This guy, I can't work with this guy, right?
Right.
And this was my first TV shot with them.
You don't speak Swahili. That's the problem. Go on.
Yeah. So I said, how am I going to get around this without him thinking or taking it the wrong way, but getting the information I need, because I'm going out in front of 20,000 people, and it's also going to be broadcast around the world, and I can't screw this up. So I would go back to him periodically and say, okay, so this is what we're going to do, right? And just make sure, get it again. And anyway, we went in the ring, good match. He came back after the match to me. He says, wow, you throw some good punches out there. Because I don't. I'm smooth. I'm light, but it looks like I'm hitting you with a jackhammer. But that's the art of it, and that's what I believe is missing. You know, Jimmy, you're talking about strong style in Japan, and that stuff doesn't work. That stuff is for the marks. That's for guys who you have nothing to prove by doing that. Who is it for?
Right.
Who's it
Damn,
for?
Andy, you're so. I mean, this isn't a sport. It's entertainment. We're not
Exactly.
looking this for MMA or box. You're so right. It's like
Well, I also think somewhere in the middle lies the truth. Like the strong style, right? What are all those forearm concussions to the head really? Who is that really for? But then you got a guy like John Moxley, who's a superstar. Those are the worst punches I've ever seen.
There's a way to do it. You could go on YouTube and see the match with me and Ahmed,
Right.
and you decide for yourself. But all I'm saying is, we're not there to kill each other. We're trying to make the people believe that we're killing each other. And if they believe that and we don't have to, we've done our job. Because anyone could go out there and hit you with a brick. Where's the talent?
Yeah.
So why is the art of the most simple thing and one of the most basic important things in professional wrestling, the art of throwing a punch that looks like a fucking punch, pardon my French, why is that being overlooked nowadays? What is that?
People don't think there's any value to it. They think the value comes from, let's see how many flips I could do off the top rope and how many times I could do it and how many pops I get from the crowd.
What do you mean, Andy? When you were ever in a real fight, you never climbed up like
Yeah.
5 stairs and did a backflip onto someone? I mean, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. That's the way we're gonna approach this fight, right? Listen, I don't want to veer. I want to have the fans hear this great story.
Right.
You
There
keep
we
veering into something. I gotta ask you now. Owen Hart. You mentioned Owen Hart. And you mentioned the Montreal Screwjob. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Montreal Screwjob, work or shoot? Owen Hart, should they have stopped the show?
I would have stopped the show only because emotionally it's such a heavy impact. I don't know if you can go on. But the fans didn't know what happened, right? So they kept it going.
At home. In the arena, they had to know.
Right.
Yeah. The fans at home. Right.
But the guys who knew him, I don't know how they were able to go on. I don't know if I could have.
How about Vince on this deal? Do you think Vince was wrong for not stopping the show?
And was it in order, or did he talk with them and give them a chance to express themselves, or did he just say, we're going to go on with the show?
Well, I wasn't there for that.
Right. What have you heard?
But I haven't heard much. But the thing is, the best people to ask are the people that were watching it and were the fans and were watching and paying for it at home.
Of course.
Because those are the people that matter.
Right.
Vince could have decided one way or another, and that's a personal thing. But in this business, you have to do. You have to listen to the people.
Well, you got to make a decision, right? Yeah. You're the captain. If something like that happened to your organization, you have to make that decision. All right, Montreal Screwjob, work or shoot?
Work.
Thank you.
Work.
Still to this day, how does Bret Hart and Vince McMahon still keep their mouths shut?
Well, I walked right by Sean and Bret when they were going over their match. Okay. There was talk about what was going to happen, and
listen. Wait, hold on, and Andy, we're well past this, brother. Just let's let it out. Let's hear the story. Let's hear it.
Well, I remember Bret telling Sean, "Okay, then you put me in the sharpshooter." And from there, I mean, I didn't want to just stop and stand in front of them because this was in an empty corridor.
Right.
Why not?
At the Bell Center in Montreal, There's a big open area in the back area, but then there's a door with a corridor for the dressing rooms. So I went in that hallway. I had access, of course, and I saw them there. So I just wanted to pick up on something, and that's what I heard them talking about. Okay, Sean, you put me in the sharpshooter, and then we'll go from there.
Wow. And how, again, that I always felt like it was work also, but after all these years, I can't believe that Bret or Vince wouldn't come clean.
I don't believe it was a work unless they both agree that this cow is legendary and they'll be able to milk it financially for profit till the end of time.
Well, I saw Vince. I didn't see Vince the day after in Ottawa, but I saw him in Cornwall the day after that. because it's an old building and the corridors are very narrow, and we crossed. He said, hi. I said, hi. And he had just this line under his eye, just a little shiner, just a straight line.
Very interesting. All right, Andrew, let's hear that. Let's hear your venture with Pat Patterson.
So
I
I saw Pat, and I said to him, well, I have an idea for you that's never been done before. And he says, well, what's that? I said, you've never had a Jewish wrestler with a Jewish gimmick.
Oi.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. He said, well, we have Barry Horowitz.
He doesn't exactly come across as Moses, but go on.
I said, it's true in name, you do, but the fact is, you just put a star on his trunks for color, and it's nothing more than that. And you could do something that you've never done before, and I could do that with you, because this is a story you've never told before of over 5,800 years of conflict that's never been resolved before. And I'm the real thing. I said, to do this, you have to bring someone new into the WWF that people don't know, because then they'll buy it. And I could speak Hebrew well enough to do it.
Wow.
Nice.
I said, I'm going to be in Adonai Eloheinu.
There you go. Olam. There you go. Nice. Very nice.
So,
sorry, Mike. We regress. Go on.
Yeah. So I said, we could do something you've never done before, where he says, oh, but hang on a minute. All these TV station owners are Jewish. You can't be a heel. I said, I don't want to be a heel. I want to be I'm a baby face. I'll get it over as a baby face. And what we could do, I'm an Israeli wrestler, and I'm telling my story how for thousands of years we've been persecuted, and we've been oppressed, and we've been in the middle, surrounded by enemies and a small people, but yet we've persevered, and we survived, and we fought, and we've conquered, and we're still here, and we're still fighting. And I told him this, and I said, and then who do we face? We face the Arabs, Jew versus Arabs in the ring. And we do something that's never been done, and we fight, and finally, we do another thing that's never been done. We finally shake hands and make peace in the ring, and end up teaming up together against other factions and other groups.
Wow.
We can have a blow-off. We can come do a pay-per-view in Jerusalem at the wall.
Against Fuji and Saito or something?
Well, this was after that.
This is a little later than that, Jimmy. I mean, come on. And first of all, I don't know if the Japanese had any problem with the Jews, dude. I mean, come on.
No, but he's talking about opposing forces, and I'm just throwing shit out there to see if it's
it's got to make a little sense, Jimmy. I mean,
does it? Everybody hates everybody. Does it really have to make sense? I mean, come on. Look at the world. Point at any spot.
You say, Andy, that's a storytelling we don't want. It's like
against Netherlands.
The Jewish against Switzerland. The Jews against Switzerland.
You're not peaceful. Right. You're not neutral. You've been
we are against neutrality.
Wait, Switzerland turns out to be the ultimate heel. You go up against Switzerland because they've been pulling the cha-ching all this time. There we go.
Or you swerve the people, and we go up and we turn heel against the Americans, who we say, you know what? We're really the same. We're both Semitic people. It's the Americans who turned us against each other for their own profit and gain.
And now you're heel.
Now we have to go against them.
All right, but hold on. We got to continue on with the story. So, what does Pat say to you?
So, Pat says, let me talk to Vince.
Oh, boy.
Let me talk to Vince. And he takes my picture. Goes back to the U.S., I don't know, Connecticut or wherever he was going. And next thing you know, I get a call. It's Pat Patterson. Yeah, hi, this is Pat Patterson. Do you remember me? Yeah, I remember you. I mean, you're Pat Patterson. You're like the second in command of the WWF, and everybody knows who you are. I remember you. Okay, well, I spoke to Vince. And Vince likes it. Vince wants to see you. I showed him your picture, and we're going to bring you down to Connecticut to meet. So,
and real quick, Andrew, at this point, do you have a name for the character at all yet, or is this
I was going to be like an Orthodox character, a rabbi.
So what was the name? Did
Rabbi Baraka.
Nice. I love this. Go ahead.
So he says, Howard Finkel's going to call you and set it up. Okay, Howard Finkel calls. I get the itinerary. They fly me down. I get the limo pickup at the airport. And I'm there as part of a training camp as well. It's a 3-day camp. And at the studios at the time. They didn't have the Performance Center back then. It was at their studios. They had the ring. Tom Pritchard was supposed to be running it. He had gout. He couldn't do it. So Terry Taylor stepped in to do it. So they run us through the drills. Vince comes out to meet us. Hi. So, do you speak Yiddish? No. I speak Hebrew. So, okay. Yeah, very good.
I love this.
So we do our things. We're doing our drills, and I'm making sure they want to see us take the bumps. They want us to see all that kind of stuff, drills. I make sure when I take my bump, I'm way up there, and I'm, then we do promos as well. They wanted us to do 2 promos, a 30-second and a 60-second. And the way it's supposed to be done, you don't have a script. They just give you a thing. You're fighting The Rock at Madison Square Garden. You have 30 seconds. We're going to count you down, and we're going to, when there's 10 left, 5, we're going to, okay. So they do the thing. I do mine.
Oh, hold on, Andy. I'm not letting you off the hook. Let's hear it. Let's hear the 30-second promo. You probably
I just came up with it off the cuff, but I hit the mark.
Give us a taste. Give us a taste. Give us a little taste.
To fight against Israeli in front of the whole world, and you think you could beat us? We've faced everybody in the past. We've taken on the Germans. We've taken on the Arabs. Nobody can beat us. You think the people's champion, is going to beat us? Never. No way. I'm going to have nothing to do with this. And you talk about what The Rock is cooking. I smell what The Rock is cooking, and it is not kosher. And I don't want to have any piece of this.
By the way, that does not sound like a face at all.
Well, The Rock was, so I had to just go against him.
I got you. That's
Right.
great. That's great.
He said, okay, now Vince wants you to do something in Hebrew too. So I did something mixed with Hebrew. And
now, what are you going, like English to Hebrew, like losing control? That is friggin' awesome. I love it.
and I've got, but what I told them was, I'm going to come to the ring with a talus, with a siddur, with a tefillin. This is all foreign language to you, Mike, but Jimmy, you know what I'm talking about. But,
My old man is 70. Hit him with the Torah.
and I'm going to daven. I'm going to daven before the match.
Nice.
Wow.
So then we had to break off and do like mini matches. I went up against a guy. I was on the mat. He came off the top rope, landed short, and busted my arm.
Oh,
God.
So when I thought it was broken right away, but they took me to the hospital. It wasn't broken, but it just blew up and like immediately. And they said, you're done for now. You have to take time off. So I went back and told them that. Terry Taylor said, don't worry about it. We like you. We saw what you could do. We're going to have something. Went home, didn't hear anything. And at the time, I had someone working as an agent for me. He was trying to get into the business. So I said, okay, you know what? Let's try it out. And he contacted Bruce Pritchard to see, hey, what's going on, guys? And Bruce was not too receptive. Like, the guy stopped wrestling when he got hurt. And what would he have done if this was a real match? And it's like, well, it wasn't a real match. I mean, you saw what he could do. He was training. And, well, if this was a real match, then I don't know. And so That was the end of it. But it's something I think even now with today's political climate, it could work even better.
Listen, I think this would have been gold, but listen, I just have to say, even if you came out as a face, I think they would have turned you heel pretty quickly.
Yeah, especially
Considering
now.
today's political climate, yeah, absolutely.
Especially
It's
now.
like, wow, man, that is gold. That just would have been gold. I cannot believe Vince didn't pursue it though.
Yeah, how are you able to accept that? Like, you didn't hear from Vince directly with this. I mean,
I wasn't. It's a hard pill to swallow, and it soured my taste on the business after that for a very long time.
Well, could I ask you, couldn't you have reached out to WCW maybe? Or even ECW?
Well, I spoke to Terry Taylor after that, and it wasn't going anywhere really.
You know, Mike, not for nothing. My gut read is that, like he said, so many executives are of the Jewish persuasion. I believe somebody would have shot it down. I really do. I feel like some uppity whatever up in the office would have been like, "Oh, we can't do that. That's good. No."
Well, maybe, but at the end of the day, it's Vince who makes the decisions, and if he sees that money,
right,
and if there's money there,
yeah,
we'll do
it.
You know what? I bet you Paul
mean,
Heyman in the ECW days would have loved that shit.
That's what I'm saying. Paul Heyman would have been all over that, but I honestly want to say this, and this is what we talk about in the show, and I'll give my opinion. I'll ask you guys a feedback. With the anti-Semitism that's always been in this country, and I think it's even at a higher level now. We saw it just a year ago, and then on the other side, trying to make the character heel, right, or even so. To make him a face with all the anti-Semitism, I don't think it would have worked. But considering all the major players in the game are Jewish, they don't want to see a Jewish character as a heel. So maybe that also may have caused, like when you start talking about Bruce to me, I was like, I think Bruce was like, even though Vince liked it, I think he probably went to Vince and said, this can't work. There's no win here because the fans will hate him. And the executives will not want to hate him, and there will be a problem there. Or
Mike,
am I being ridiculous?
You just described the plight of the Jewish people historically. There's no win here. Sorry.
It's a good point.
That's just the way it feels to me historically. It's just like, as Andy was describing before, geographically screwed, little tiny thing in the middle of everyone who wants them gone, you know. So,
but I don't know if you heard me before, Andy. How come you didn't try to go to WCW with the character or an ECW? Because I'm assuming that's at the same time they were around.
I spoke to Terry Taylor, who had transitioned over to WCW.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha.
But couldn't really get through to him either. I didn't know how much pull he had. I don't think he had the pull. And I didn't know anyone either to get to the right people for this, because it has to go to the right people, because let's face it, there's only a couple decision makers out there.
How tough is it for you over the years watching guys with lesser talent, because they know how to play the game, get a bigger push than guys with more talent that are not familiar with how to work the system?
It's tough because I'm a straight up kind of guy. But at the same time, I say, well, if they were able to do it, you have to give them credit for that at the same time as well. But you mentioned something going back. Paul Heyman, he's perfect for this, because imagine him being involved in this as a manager, saying he's gone back to Israel and he's found his Orthodox side.
Oh, would have been gold.
I'm loving this.
Imagine, and he's embraced his religion. And he has someone, a protege, who he's going to bring in.
Oh, gold. I got to ask you this then, though. So here you are. You're like, oh, my God, I finally hit gold. Patterson, they're all in on this.
Yeah,
I hurt myself. First of all, I don't know, Andy. I don't know you well enough. But, I mean, how do you stop from going down that dark hole that a lot of wrestlers go down? We've seen too many times. And how do you not just quit and say, that's it? It's just not meant to be. How do I get hurt in my biggest chance? You know what I'm saying?
I kind of went down that road, not to that extent that you may be referring to, but I didn't want to really have anything to do with the business for a long time after that. Bad taste in my mouth about what happened, looking at the product that was out there at the same time was different, was not something I agreed on. But slowly, when something's inside you, it's hard to leave. It's like the Neil Diamond song, I Am, I Said. I've got an emptiness deep inside and I've tried, but it won't let me go. And it just won't let me go.
Mike, he said something earlier that I'm still thinking about, and it was probably a good 40 minutes ago when you were talking about his wife and her ability to support him with his dreams and what he does. When you said that a doctor said to you paralysis could be a possibility, and you start to answer this with, well, the thing is, blows my mind, and that's why I do respect wrestlers unbelievably, because 1/4 of an inch, one fraction of an inch, and someone is paralyzed. How do you, were you angry at the wrestler who hurt you that time? And to me, that's like everything right there. That was your shot. Did you go to that guy afterwards? Were you resentful? Were you pissed? I would have been like out of my mind over that.
That's really a great question, because the funny thing is that didn't enter into my mind, because as a wrestler, we know things can happen, right? You're off a fraction. It's part of the business sometimes, and it's not intentional. So I was angry at the system. I was angry at them not overlooking something that could have given them and me the opportunity of a lifetime.
That's why, and again, I know nothing, but that's why I feel like the injury had nothing to do with it. I felt they were in a no-win situation with that character, and say what you want about Bruce Pritchard, the dude is brilliant, right? And he has a great business mind. I think this is a land that they just didn't want to venture in, as great as it would have been. So wow.
I think the executives were afraid of it. The only time, Mike, I can remember that a Jewish approach got pushed, and it was very brief, was the character Mordecai. It was very brief, and I thought to myself, this is different. And they were thinking about, he was dressed in all white, he had a sword or whatever he had, and you thought maybe the Undertaker.
But that guy was supposed to be Jewish?
Mordecai? Well,
Yeah.
if you look it up, there's a fella named Mordecai going back. Yeah.
You guys are too intelligent for me.
Yeah,
okay, Mad Dog Pro Wrestling. Where can the fans see it? Where I'm psyched for it. Where can we catch episodes of Mad Dog Pro Wrestling?
Well, there's no episodes yet. It's in the works. There's a lot of stuff in the works coming up. Dates, live events. MadDogProWrestling.com. Mad Dog Pro Wrestling FB on Facebook as well. And the response has been tremendous. It keeps growing everywhere I go, events that I attend. People are captivated and they want to know more. They want to see more. They want to be a part of it, because this is something that there's been a void of for a long time.
And for the fans that haven't caught it live, I know there's a lot going on. We'll be rerunning this and then cutting shorts from it. We will be putting the link up to Mad Dog Pro Wrestling, both on the Facebook page, your YouTube page, right, and your webpage.
Absolutely. And, Jimmy, you mentioned, that just fraction of an inch that, my doctor told me about. He says, listen, I look at you, and I can't explain how you look like this, because no one your age should look like this, let alone someone half your age. But I can't explain it. I work with athletes. You shouldn't even be able to lift weights, let alone look like the way you do. But one thing I can't explain is your MRI. And
with that, we have the great Andy Ellison. Sir, thank you for joining the Howard Stern of Pro Wrestling. It's truly an honor, and there's no doubt in my mind you will be successful, and we'll be along with you on the road. What an honor it was to meet you, sir.
Oh, same to you. Much respect.
Thank you.
All right, wishing you the best. We'll see you guys at 9:00 for Hannibal versus Monte and the Pharaoh with special guest Jimmy.
Jamie Dundee. Oh boy. Hold on to your horsies. Look,
See
hi,
you guys.
everybody.
See you in about
Later.
10 minutes.
Baruch
Thank you again,
Hashem.
Andy. Hey. Couple things I want to cover, Jimmy.
Yeah.
500 level has now improved on the M&P code. Now go to MP30 for 30% off. Jimmy, I got to tell you something, right? I was at the beach again, 500 level. If you guys haven't looked at the shirts, right, go to the website. It's incredible. And I got to be honest, right? So it was a little chilly today. I brought the dogs to the beach. I was off work for the Jewish holidays,
today.
right?
It's cold.
It wasn't cold,
Yeah.
but
Well,
I have from 500 level, I have a Roman Reigns sweatshirt. Now, usually sweatshirts are not always the nicest fabric, unless I'm into really nice fabric because I just don't like things up against my skin. So
Yeah.
usually I'll get thinner type of shirts, but this is a heavy sweatshirt. The fabric, unbelievable. And you're going to get a deal at 30% off, Jimmy. I mean, my God, it's a no-brainer, guys. I am telling you, once you get one shirt from them, I guarantee it. And they've got all the sports. Yeah, dude, tell me what you think of it, Jimmy.
They're so comfortable. I got to get a long sleeve now. I'm telling you, I got to, because it was chilly today, especially for a guy who's been in Panama City Beach the last 2 years. It was chilly today, and I love the material. It's so silky. Is that the right word for it? I don't know.
Oh, absolutely, dude.
It's so comfortable. So yeah, I got to get myself some leveled long sleeves. That's for sure. 30%.
And again,
off,
it doesn't. They got plenty of wrestling stuff. They got baseball stuff. They've got football. They got everything, dude. MMA. They got it all, man. And I'm telling you, it's very high quality. Again, 500 level code MP30, 30% off. So if a T-shirt costs you $20, what's 30% off on $20, dude?
It's enough. 10 plus another 20% tacked on top. Not much. It's a steal.
I agree. I want to remind everybody too, the Monte and the Pharaoh show, hit the QR code, be willing to check out our shows on YouTube, where we got almost 24,000 subscribers. Go to our Facebook page where we're approaching 27,000 subscribers. And again, if you feel like donating to the show, please go to the Monte and the Pharaoh webpage. Big event coming up, so a lot of good stuff happening right now.
Hey man, what you gonna do when it all comes back to you? Think man, what you gonna say when it all falls away? Today, nothing ever found. Take a look around above the ground. There's no love out on the streets today. It's a mystery. Some say there's a better way. People love to talk to ease the pain. No way it's ever gonna solve a thing. Speak out, love to hear your voice. War and hate to seem to be the drugs of choice. Tell me what tomorrow brings. It's a mystery. Open your eyes to truly see that there's no more time.